the fulfillment that Jesus Christ brought in his life and death and resurrection.
Now he said to them, "These are my words which I spoke to you while I was still with you, that all things which are written about me in
Mhm.
the law of Moses and the prophets and the Psalms must be fulfilled." Do you think that's just Luke throwing that in there and the Jews didn't say that?
Yes, most likely.
Okay,
Yeah, on
so
what basis?
there you go.
On what basis,
Um,
Brandon? Because you think so?
you know, because you would know that. For instance, when he quotes, he stands up in the synagogue, unravels the scroll of Isaiah, and pronounces, "The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is upon me. He's anointed me to preach good news to the poor."
Right.
He quotes the whole scripture, and then he stops right before it says, "And the great and dreadful day of the Lord," talking about the judgment of God. Multiple times throughout the scripture, Jesus would take what I would argue would be a more progressive approach. He quotes scriptures that negate things that are
Okay.
talking about the judgment.
Here's an obvious problem, Brandon. A
Yep.
really
Right.
plain obvious problem. First of all, he holds the scriptures and views them as the very words of God, because he says
No,
these things are fulfilled in your ears.
Jesus
And
never
then
called the
he
scripture word of
stops,
God.
and then he stops where he stops, because that is yet a future fulfillment. There is a
No.
partial fulfillment in him. You're making it impossible for there to be such thing as prophecy. Do you believe Jesus was prophesied in the scriptures?
What I think, the way that I think you're interpreting that scripture is, again, not how Jesus would have interpreted it or any Jewish reader of the Jewish scriptures would have interpreted it. I think this is one of the biggest problems with fundamentalist Christianity, is that it reads back into the Hebrew Bible prophecies that weren't meant to be prophecies. Isaiah 53 is not about Jesus.
Oh goodness.
Except,
Oh goodness.
I'm sorry, Brandon, except
Except
on the
for
road to Emmaus,